Hello, I am Melissa Schlegel, and this video will give you a brief tour of the online lecture and lab sections of Geology 104, Natural Hazards and Environmental Geology. When you log on to Blackboard, you will first see the announcement page, where I will post announcements such as due dates for assignments. I will also post a weekly news report of some hazard in the news. Natural hazards have social and economic impacts, and hopefully these posts will help you be more aware of these impacts. You can always send me links of hazards in the news, and if I like them, which I'm guessing I will, I'll post them. Next item in the red column is faculty information. Here's my awesome picture. I always look like this. The most important part of this page is my contact info. The best way to get a hold of me is through email. I check it regularly. In the red column below faculty information is the syllabus and course schedule. Please read the syllabus. Important to note that you must be concurrently taking the Geology 104 lab and pass the lab in order to pass the course. Grading follows this scheme. Your final grade will be comprised of both the lab and lecture grade. The lab grade will be worth exactly 25% of the total grade. I use fractions to figure this out, so even though the points are not exactly 25% of the total points, the lab is still only worth 25% of your total grade. Everything else is pretty normal. There are discussion board responses, about 15 points each week assigned. Study guide quizzes with the variable point range from about 10 to 20 points. There's a class project worth 150 points total. 3 exams, 50 points each. And a final exam worth 150 points. Suggestions for success. Watch and participate in the learning media, pay attention, take notes, etc. Read the associated chapter in the textbook. Respond to the discussion board questions. Prepare for and take the study guide quizzes. Study for tests. And email me if you have problems that affect your course performance before you've missed a lot of coursework. We can usually work things out if I know what's going on. I also expect you to put in the time you need to learn the material. I suggest spending a lot of time studying for the tests. And I use participation in the discussion boards as attendance. If you have not attended the first or second week, then you will be dropped from the course. This page is what I consider to be the most important page in the syllabus, the course schedule or calendar. The course schedule covers about 1 chapter from the textbook per week. As you see, I expect you to read the chapter and watch posted media. I strongly suggest you answer study guide questions found under course documents prior to actually taking the study guide quiz. The study guide quizzes are basically the study guide questions in multiple choice, multiple answer, or true-false format. I've heard that the quizzes are tricky, so be prepared and read the answer choices carefully. And again, please note that the study guide questions will also make up the majority of the test and final exam questions. There are 3 tests, 1 cumulative final exam. The 3 tests will be on Blackboard, OpenNote, but severely timed. The final will be proctored in the testing center and will follow a similar format to the 3 previous exams, but no notes. Repeat, no notes on the final exam. You will need to schedule your final exam in the testing center at least 2 business days prior to taking the final exam. You will also need to take photo ID. There is a class project. It will be a paper about 3 pages long about a specific natural hazard, like the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption, or the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. You get to pick your specific natural hazard. Just be sure you can meet the requirements of the rubric. Some natural hazards just don't have a lot of information. The rubric for the class project is under course documents. Right here. Class project rubric. Do, 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 do. You can read it on your own time. Hopefully it is clear. And I suggest reading it over sometime before you complete the class project, which will be definitely later in the semester. So in December. Lab assignments accompany each chapter covered in the online lecture section and are worth 20 points. In addition, there is a math review lab that will be completed the first week. Hopefully this lab will be easy for you. It is meant to be a review. You can use the lab as an opportunity to brush up on some basic math skills that we will be using during the course. You can see the lab schedule and the course calendar in the syllabus, found in the syllabus section. In the Blackboard shell for the lab, there is a weekly lab module in the red column on the left, which we will go over in the lab section. Before we leave the course schedule, note that the due dates are Friday of that week. There are a couple of reasons for this. One is that I want you to have a weekend. And second, I don't want to have a weekend. Okay, I'm kidding. I just normally try to grade everything on Saturday. So, get everything done by the end of Friday. The next tab down is course documents here. In this tab, you will find the study guide questions and discussion board rubrics and the class project rubric, which I showed you already. Note again that my exams are comprised of questions primarily from the study guide questions. Of course, the questions are slightly modified to fit the testing environment, but the information for the answers is very similar. The next item in the red column is the weekly modules. Each module follows a similar format with a brief introduction and list of objectives, followed by a checklist for that week. Next are several content pages covering the information about the chapter. Each week that we cover lecture material, there will be 2 discussion questions. One type of discussion question I am calling hardcore, where you discuss a geology question such as relate the geologic cycle to the study of natural hazards. Specifically discuss each subcycle, tectonic, rock, hydrologic, and biogeochemical. This hardcore discussion question is worth 10 points. The second type of discussion question I am calling softcore. This question is the same for each week except the first week. And I'll show it to you. How do you relate to the natural hazard covered this week? The softcore discussion question is worth 5 points. You'll be required to post your answer to the questions and then respond to other classmates' answers. I will post the correct answer for the hardcore discussion question after the due date. However, most of the discussion questions are fairly open-ended and may have several correct answers. That being said, there are wrong answers. I will try to address the wrong trends that I see in my correct answer. I will also post my answer to the softcore discussion question. Finally, this is the tab here where you will find the study guide quiz. Each question is worth half a point, so the quizzes vary in number of points from 9.5 to 18.5 points. I'm aware that some of the questions are easier or harder than others, but they are all worth 0.5 points. I'm hoping that everything will average out, or that perhaps you'll beat the average and get lucky. In conclusion, I am excited to be leading this online course, and I hope the course will be both exciting and educational. If you have any questions or concerns, again, please feel free to email me. Thanks.